Welcome to Hamim Loyal. This is Eric Grissom.
And I'm Dan Johnson. Eric and I will be rewatching the iconic Twin Peaks from the pilot through the return and everything in between.
If this is your first time watching, or if you're a longtime fan, you can watch along with us as we dive deep into the strange and wonderful world of Twin Peaks.
We live inside a dream.
Today on Meanwhile, we are tackling Drive with the Dead Girl. This is episode number 15, Dan. This is the 8th episode of season number 2. Lucky number 2. I haven't said that in a while. Yeah, Dan, before we get to talking about Driving and Dead Girls, the David Lynch auctions are over. So,
oh my, what'd you get?
I got nothing because I'm poor. But that map that we talked about,
yeah.
The original map, the one
hand-drawn,
exactly.
David Lynch draw, yeah.
Yeah, the David Lynch, the Holy Grail. I mean, who doesn't want that thing? It went for $117,000. Now that seems almost low to me. I thought it would have went higher, but still, $117,000 is not something I could come up with. And so somebody bought it. I don't know whoever you are. You're very lucky.
I hope it is going to a deserving place. Actually, I've already said this. I hope it goes to a museum. The Museum of Television and Movies would be fantastic. The Paley Center, something like that would be great.
Yes,
but
please.
Hey, man, if you bought it, you do whatever you want with it. You can hang it up in your powder room if you want to.
Yeah, I feel like we reviewed some of the items. Like someone bought his snow machine. That would be great if he had a snow machine. His fog machine for $3,000.
That seems like an odd choice, but okay, sure.
I mean, I have my own fog machine. If I could say this was David Lynch's fog machine, I feel like that would have a little bit more weight. Not that much.
Hey, Eric, you can just tell people it's David Lynch's fog machine.
That's true.
No one's going to correct you on it. They're going to say, oh, that old Grissom guy.
The only other item that I wanted to mention, just because we talked about it, was that wonderful painting of the atom bomb that appears behind Gordon Cole, and the return went for $45,500. So
I would have expected that to go for high. Wait, so that was a painting and not a photo?
Did I say painting?
You did.
Yeah, photo.
Okay.
The picture, the framed photo that is behind him and
gotcha.
In the return, $45,000.
We could have scraped that together. What were we doing? Regret.
It went for a lot. They made a lot of money, so wherever the stuff is ending up, especially if there's like scripts from Fire Walk With Me that are apparently annotated, which means David Lynch is writing notes in the margins. Like, many people are hoping that whoever gets it is going to, scan it in and post it and give it to the people. Or I don't know if they can sell it. I don't know what the rules are, but it'd be nice to have like a book, a Fire Walk With Me book that had the scripts in it and the annotation. So,
oh my goodness,
we'll see what happens. We're not here to talk about stuff we can't afford. We are here to talk about David Lynch and the worlds connected to him. And so we're here, Dan, to talk about Drive with the Dead Girl. We are following up one of the greatest episodes of Twin Peaks with another solid episode. Very good one, in my opinion. This is, as I said, episode 15. It aired on November 17th. 1990. It was written by Scott Frost. Now, this is Scott Frost's first episode. We saw his work when we did the tapes of Agent Cooper. He's going to go on to write another episode of Twin Peaks and the Agent Cooper autobiography. And it was directed by Caleb Deschanel. This is his second episode. We saw him last season 1 in Realization Time. And he's going to do one more called Black Widow in 2 or 3 from now. It was up against Wise Guy and Carol and Company, and it took second place. So sorry, Wise Guy, but Carol Burnett, she's a treasure.
She's a living legend. That's
totally unrelated. But Dennis Hopper hosted SNL the same night.
Now, I didn't see your movie Blue Velvet, but Pearl tells me that Blue Velvet is about an asthmatic gentleman who appreciates fine fabrics. Well, Danny, who directed our little film, huh? Who could have directed that little motion picture? Oh, I just can't imagine who. I just can't think. Could it be Satan?
You know, actually, I was playing Frank Booth, who's a psychotic sadist killer.
So you could theoretically have watched, I probably did. I probably watched Drive with a Dead Girl and then watched SNL with Dennis Hopper.
I would bet so much money that that's the case.
Yeah. Bring it up, obviously, because there's a picture of Dennis Hopper in the in the Johnson home that we've surmised. Right.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, should we just go into it? Do you have anything to add before we hit the button?
I am ready to dive in, Eric.
Dive in. We dive in on Meanwhile, we hit the button on the old Doctor Who show. I have to keep those two separate.
Ben, if you're gonna blurt out a confession like that, it's gonna make our options shrink down to a tiny little nub.
All right, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Your alibi has been roasted. They can establish motive. And your blood may have Laura's fingerprints on it. Ben, as your attorney, your friend, and your brother, I strongly suggest that you get yourself a better lawyer.
Morning comes to the Palmer house after a brutal night as James and Donna interrupt Leland's round of indoor golf to say goodbye to Maddie. Eric, tell me about the opening from this. I mean, after the end of the previous episode, coming right into it like this.
Yeah, right. We get we hear the murder. We see the late night, again, reminding us this is a crime in a home, in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood. The setting is not some seedy alley. It's not a war zone. It is just a house on your street. I love that it starts that way.
Yeah.
It's really scary. Then we go right into the morning. I have a couple of stupid things.
Cool.
Deal with the stupid things first. Not stupid things, but I had mentioned last time, I think it was last time or 2 times ago, could never be too sure, how much I loved Maddie's car, right? So we saw Maddie's car when she was going to Harold's house and she drives away and trying to figure out, because it's not Leland's car, as we'll see in this episode. It's not that car. Right. And it's not Sarah's car, because we see Sarah's car in Fire Walk With Me, it's yellow, and and in the missing pieces, she comes in. Laura drives that car to Harold's house. So it's got to be Maddie's car, right? She's driving it. Yeah. We said, but Leland's dropping her off at the bus station.
In fact, I dropped her off at the bus station not 20 minutes ago.
And he's telling them that, and as well as in the future episodes, it'll come up that she was dropped off at the bus station.
Is it the Hayward's car? We did see Doc Hayward pick up Donna whenever she snuck out and her bike got left at the roadhouse. Did she maybe come with Donna, but Donna left with James?
You know what? That could totally be the case of drive this car home. I'm going to get a ride on my boyfriend's motorcycle.
I can't figure out where else that car would have come from. So
yeah,
maybe.
Or it's something that got missed. But I like where your head's at. So maybe I'll have to scour through previous episodes to see it is the Haywards.
Oh, good. Car. This is your homework for the next 3 hours. Okay,
it's a great car. Great car.
Yeah,
amazing. But to talk about this scene, there's so much to like about it. First off, it's him with the balls hitting the golf balls, and Ray Wise is so good in that he can carry this character of Leland through the grief of early season 1, through the comedy of really, I guess, later season. It's more tragic comedy in later season 1, and then just kind of almost full-on comedy in the early part of this. And he manages to keep that, and then it gets this sinister edge. And now you're seeing these comedic moments, but you flipped your interpretation of it. We know who he is, and they take on this whole other meaning, and you go back in time in your head thinking about all these cute little funny Leland dancing and smiling and doing all this stuff, and he does it in a way that it's not silly. It doesn't lose any of the sinister nature or the tension or the evilness or this is a bad guy, but it works in the scene. and they are still funny in a wonderfully dark way, which I love. And it's just a testament to his acting. Ray Wise is just absolutely fantastic.
Yes, 100% agree with that. So much of that, though, what he's doing is not even verbal. It's just a look, especially in this episode and going forward, where he's facing the camera but away from the other people in the scene, so we get let in to what's going on inside his mind a bit. And he just can explain so much in just a couple of seconds of a different look, and as he catches himself and prepares himself to put on a mask to face everyone around him, we just get so much more of him in this. And he was great before now, and now it's just taken up to another level because he's got one more thing to play on top of everything else.
All those little moments, it's almost all nonverbal, but those little cues when he's like, we'll get to that, there's a scene coming that is absolutely fantastic. In this one scene too, you see both sides of it. You see Donna and James coming in and seeing all the golf balls and laughing because he's kind of a joke, or like silly Leland, what a weirdo, like, isn't that funny? But we know that he's a killer, and they play with that irony all throughout this episode, and it's so good. And speaking of how violent it is, I forgot to mention, I watched the Blu-ray for this particular episode, and you can watch the previously on, which I would have watched when it first aired. But they show so much of the violent murder of Maddie, even in the previously on. Like you're like, how did this episode get on television? Like, it wasn't like a one-off thing. They were like previously on, and then you see like Bob, licking your face and do. So it's like the full-on murder is again presented to anyone that happened to miss it. Maddie in the freaking bag.
Oh my God.
Just seeing her there, and boy, he's strong too. Like, he can carry a body like a champ, Leland. He's got the strength of at least two beings inside him, so that makes sense. He does. He's got the extra Bob strength.
No, that's great. I don't know that I have much more to add to that. I do love that it starts with the scream from the outside, because in the previous episode, when we see the violence of of Maddie's murder, and she's screaming, "Somebody help me, somebody help me," we know that we're in this, I don't know if it's really suburbia because there's not like a big town around it, but it's just a residential neighborhood, and the houses are close to each other. And I'm just, there's like a hope, it's not going to happen, but just this faint hope of someone must be able to hear her from outside and be able to stop this. And now we actually get to hear for ourselves. Yeah, someone could have heard her from outside, but no one was able to help her. So it just makes it, for me, doubly sad that she was literally so close to anyone being able to intervene, and she was just lost that way. And then it fades right into morning, and it feels just like there's birds chirping in the background. You hear Leland kind of laughing a bit as he's chipping the golf balls, which is such a strange thing too, because you don't see what he's doing. You see that he's chipping golf balls, but I assumed it was into like one of those net backstops or something like that.
All over the house.
He's just doing it into the curtains, onto the chairs. It's great. He's really got this off-kilter thing, this really unsettled sort of behaviors happening. I was wondering too, there's a moment when James and Donna come in and they see what's going on and kind of laugh to each other, and Sarah calls Leland up the stairs.
To make reservations at the
well, that's later. She says, "Don't forget to make reservations for the it was a big band, the Glenn Miller dinner or something like that." But before that, she says, "Leland, honey, come up," and he goes upstairs for something. I don't know. I don't expect you to know the answer to this, but I'm so curious about. I guess we'll know more later. I should probably already know this, but the amount of culpability and recognition that Sarah has as to everything that's going on. Maybe not 100% understanding everything that's happening, but how much does she know consciously, unconsciously repressed, or is she completely ignorant to? So it just made me think at that moment of she's interacting with this demonic presence inside her husband, and it's just very banal day-to-day sort of thing.
Right. That's a much bigger conversation. I would say subconsciously, yes, I think she does know. Consciously, no. But then as we go forward into the return, there's more to that maybe we would revisit.
She is sleeping with, presumably. She is daily having her normal life with this person she thinks is her husband, and inside is this demonic force. Yeah. And I just love that setting of a completely normal house, and this unfathomable evil is there with her. I don't know. So it just triggers something in me. I'm just curious and wondering.
Well, there's lots of comments like that. Like you could say some part of her doesn't want him alone with Donna. Leland, don't ruin this too. When at the funeral, when he jumps on top of the casket, and all the looks that she was giving him at the Hayward Supper Club, and the annoyance and stuff, and like, is there some level of where she knows that he's a danger, even though she won't admit it, or not?
The last bit of this scene, you mentioned, oh my God, the horror of seeing the hair and the hand inside the golf bag. It makes me actually think. Do you remember the movie based on real life events, Party Monster? It's just like that same like putting a person into a confined space that they could not possibly fit in if they were whole. Like, I guess I don't think that he necessarily like hacked her up or anything. Not to be too gross about it. I think she's just kind of shoved into the bag. But the way that everything is kind of contorted in there is just so creepy. But then he goes outside, and it's a beautiful sunny day, and he is getting into the car, takes the top down on the convertible, and is whistling Surrey with a Fringe on Top, even at this point, which comes back later. But even now, it's just so typical and normal.
Well, that's it. It's the marriage of
I love it.
Murder with the mundane, like golf bags or leisure activity. Like his disdain or like irreverence to human life, like just to throw the body in a freaking bag, and he's got a plan that we're gonna see play out, and it's just so good. And again, Ray Wise the whole way through. So just amazing. Like you're saying, the moment he pauses on the stairs, that little second of time. And Caleb Deschanel is a great director. I enjoy his work as well. It's very good.
Right, great. Well, from here, we head to a holding cell at the sheriff's office. Ben finds that the accommodations are not up to his usual standards, and Brother Jerry comes to take the case, Eric.
God, I can't sing the praises of Richard Baymer any more than I have. Obviously, I love the Horn Brothers, but every scene that he's in, he elevates, regardless of what actor he's working with. Like, he makes every scene, whether he's with Kyle MacLachlan in those scenes, whether he's with Sherilyn Fenn, whether he's with
he and Piper Laurie, please.
Laurie,
jeez, yeah.
Joan Chen.
Yep.
He always has, like, he is such a wonderful talent, and I feel like you should have seen him in more work over the years. I love his arc. So watching sort of his arc sort of build before our eyes is wonderful. Yep. Jerry has no idea how to defend him, like not knowing if it's 24 hours or 48 hours. And the little gag where he's got the criminal law book that he's taken out of his bag. There's another strange reference, and I don't know what it is, about Jerry Horn and Catherine's teeth. So he mentions the teeth.
Is there any sign of her? Bone fragments or teeth? Charred corroborating note regarding your whereabouts?
If you go back to the start of this season, May the Giant Be With You, Jerry says,
they'll be lucky to find teeth.
And then Ben says, and they were such pretty teeth. And now again, we're talking, we really need those teeth.
Right.
Although, like, obviously you can't, because he talks about a charred note. I don't know how that helps him. The bunk beds, how there's two bunk beds. Unrelated. I'm not saying this is why there's bunk beds in this, but do you know Jay Giles Band? Centerfold, Freeze Frame. The lead singer of Jay Giles Band is this guy named Peter Wolf, who was an art student and whose roommate was David Lynch. And they had bunk beds together, which it's just great. Like, Peter Wolf has a fantastic life, connected to so many famous people. Like, I would like to get his book that came out not that long ago. But the idea of anyone rooming with David Lynch apparently also, Peter Wolf stopped paying rent and David Lynch changed the locks.
So one day as I was coming back to the apartment, David done changed the lock on the door.
Yeah.
And that turns into a whole other adventure with David. But, many years later, David and I got together several times out here in L.A., and we would open up many a bottle of wine and go over old times.
But they were both in a bunk bed. So could you just imagine your life if, like, you're in a bunk bed with David Lynch? And I guess David Lynch is good. Could you imagine if you were in a bunk bed with Peter Wolf? Both things are true. All right, so the flashback scene. I love all of the old Horn Brothers flashback scenes. We'll get more.
Okay.
So if you like this sort of thing, it goes on for a long time.
Eric, it goes on for 1 minute and 12 seconds. It's a little long.
There are so many fetishes being born.
Yes, there are.
The white socks on the carpet, the flashing lights. But, like, these two have been on this. They're like sexual astronauts since they were kids. And it cracks me up. I get it. I can understand why people may think that it goes on too long or whatever. But I find it, like, very funny and very charming. And, like, it puts you in a mood. And it's weird, like the flashlight. But it doesn't feel to me weird trying to mimic Lynch. Clearly, the flashlights is a Lynch thing.
Sure. That
we've seen many times. It feels uniquely its own thing, but also existing in this world. And it's just like a neat little moment. And when, you know, Louise Dobromsky, I don't know, I just like Lord, What's Become of Us. It's for me, it's a nice moment. I don't know. What's your take on that?
I do like the moment. I think it does set a mood, and it shows them as these, like you said, sexual astronauts. But that these... Yeah, the way that the fetishes have been born since the beginning, and that they've been partners in this the whole way through. So I think it's a useful scene. I think it's a funny scene and interesting. I could have maybe used about half of it, though. That's all.
Okay.
It's just tighten it up a little bit. I would have been happier. But it was great. But then it comes back to them in present day, and they both have this wistful look on their face. Yeah. So it's very effective.
In their old bunk beds, like, you know, it's so cool. It's
really
cool.
good. But the scene starts with Ben cleaning the bars of the... of
he's
the
not
cell.
used to these filthy conditions.
It's just.
Well, is this the one where he's brushing his teeth when it starts?
Yes. And Jerry's like, you look terrible, and he just like looks at himself and collapses and just realizes like what a state he actually is in, because obviously he's a very prideful person. So this is going to be really hard for him.
Yes, and his brother's terrible at law, so he's in a lot of trouble.
Oh, and it gets worse. I love how much better it gets. But I
like
great.
The little Japanese flag, because we know he's been checking out Catherine, so she's really set up a lot of cover for her story, because he's been in Japan.
Well, how much? Let's guess how much time was spent on the case in Japan versus just Jerry doing what he's doing.
Mentioned the geishas.
Yeah. But out in reception in the sheriff's office, Lucy's sister Gwen arrives in town with her newborn baby, and she meets old Eagle Eye Hawk.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a lot here. It's a great scene, like the fact that the sister does not stop talking about this inane whatever conversation we're just in the middle of, that we're being dropped into. You know, you must be that native person. That exchange is funny. I don't have anything else other. It's a good scene.
It's a good introduction to Gwen, because she's not just chattering about nothing. Throughout this entire episode, it's like tales of misery. Like, my toe was all swollen. It's just like, it's always ailments that she's talking about, or she's commenting on other people's things.
Or, like, really, she's turning everything to herself. Like, no matter who's talking, it's like, now it's going to be about me, and it gets worse later. I love the little design detail that they both have the exact same haircut and the hairstyle. It's very
They do look like they could be sisters.
And Lucy is looking for Andy, so in the... You know, will they get back together? Won't they get back together? It does seem like Lucy is interested in finding out where Andy is.
Yeah. But, yeah, other than that, well, I mean, other than Gwen saying how you must hate white people, or whatever she says.
Yeah.
Hawk's response is like, some of my best friends are white people.
Yeah, it's very funny.
It's good.
Two people that Lucy has brought into this place have talked to Hawk about his Native American ancestry. Because if you remember, Dick came in and he's like, what are you so mad about? Or not that you people don't have a lot to be mad about. Or he says some line like that to Hawk. So Hawk's constantly dealing with this, but they're both coming through Lucy. I know.
Oh, that's terrific.
For whatever it's worth.
It's 10:03 a.m. at the Great Northern Hotel. Harry and Cooper catch Leland's soft shoe lounge act and break the news of Ben's arrest.
Cooper's dialogue is like right out of the Twilight Zone.
Sheriff Truman and I have just been with the one-armed man, or what's left of him. In another time, another culture, he may have been a seer. a shaman priest. In our world, he's a shoe salesman and lives among the shadows.
In the Twilight Zone.
But man, Leland. Oh, once again, just seeing him with new eyes. He's just such a sinister bent.
Yep.
It is not silly. And you get to see, we know, right? We know as the audience. But we're watching our heroes not know. But now you're like, Cooper knows something's up. Cooper's radar is going off. He hasn't figured out there's anything wrong with Leland. But you can tell something's not right. And I love that about it. God, when he goes off on his own and he does that, like when he so what happens, like they tell him, hey, it turns out it's Ben that did it, and he does the fake, like it's good, the law, gonna let the law do it, like he's not gonna go straight up murder Ben the way he did Jacques. And when he goes off and that laugh that turns into the smile as he's like looking up, and he knows like everything, that he's got his plans coming together, like whatever he's got, like everything is coming up Leland or coming up Bob, depending on how you look at it.
Oh, just that look that you're talking about, it just makes me think of Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance in The Shining. That maniacal look where he's just like looking upwards, kind of eyes almost rolled back. It's so terrifying and so freaky. He makes it his own. It's his own terrifying thing. But the images together just give me shivers. But
I don't know how Leland didn't get nominated for an Emmy for his performance in even the episode Laura's Secret Diary, when he does the confession about grief, and it's the one where the camera pulls out, it's coming out of the Todd Holland one where it's coming out of the wall. This scene, he's got episodes to come that he does such like powerful, fantastic work. It just feels like he was robbed.
I agree.
Two small, quick things. One thing, I don't know if there is a convention going on in the Great Northern, but there's a number of girls in school outfits and knee-high socks.
Right.
There's like a picture that's like on a pedestal, but it looks like it's the falls. So that could just be a generic picture that's always there. I didn't know if it was related to it. And God damn, Leland's dance out. Like he can't let it go. Like he's so brazen, and he gets more brazen in this episode, that he's willing to blow his cover. Like he's supposed to be in grief at this point because he found that it was Ben, but he has to dance.
Yeah.
Like he'll do it, and he'll push the boundaries. And later on, we're going to see when he's showing off golf clubs.
So interesting to think, like, is Bob pushing the boundaries just to push them, or does he not actually care if Leland gets caught, because he'll just move on to someone else? It's great, because if Leland, if he pushes it too far and Leland gets caught, then that's more misery for him, that's more pain. So it's just, Bob has nothing to lose. He's just complete chaos and menace.
I feel like it's a high for him. It's like a high, like pushing it and putting himself out there is something that he gets off on.
Absolutely. I had the same note about the Catholic. It looked like Catholic schoolgirls or schoolgirls of some sort.
Yeah, they've got little emblems on their...
with Leland there kind of dancing around them with the club, and it looks on the surface like he's just a funny guy doing a silly thing. But knowing who he is, and next to those women who could be easily his next victim, could have been Laura, is just so unsettling. It's terrific. It's subtle, but it's there. It's great.
That's a good point. I never put that connection together.
Really, really creepy. Put them there like that. I also looked at that poster. I couldn't really read it, but it just looks like, I don't think it was a convention. Maybe they were... I don't know. I don't know why they were there, but it's great.
And there's enough of them. And like, so maybe it's something.
Maybe. But I think that's it. Like, we just see Cooper has this intuition that something's going on. That's why he follows Leland after Leland had left the main area of the reception, where it sounds like he's crying, but it actually turns into that maniacal laughter. So just love seeing Cooper with his antenna up, like he said. It's frustrating because we don't normally see Cooper like this. We normally see him ahead of everything else, but now he knows he's behind. He knows a mistake was made. It's great.
And Harry asks, like, is everything all right? And he's like, I don't know. Or he says something like something wrong, and he's like, I'm not sure.
Right. Also, small detail, I'm not sure how much it matters, but when Leland does go off out of the main reception area, and he's alone, he has that sobbing moment, turns to laughter. He's standing in front of these red curtains in the background there too.
Sure.
Which, if you're going to call attention to the fire, I'm going to call attention to the red curtains all the time too. Why not?
Hello, it's Eric. Welcome to the midpoint. By now, you're probably used to the midpoint. You're like, it's the midpoint. But you're not going to skip over because you're going to hear about the wonderful people that are hanging out with us in the Black Lodge. Of course, there's Banjo Track. There's Dawn Adamo. There's Gregory Flanagan. And there's Chuck Suffel. I may want all my Garmonbosia, but you will have my heart forever. How did they get here? How did they get a shout out like this? Because they have joined our Patreon, which is available right now. So if you want to support the show, you can stop by and sign up for free or do one of the paid tiers that gets you the secret podcasts and you help us out. Go to ericgrissom.com/meanwhile and you should see a link for the Patreon there. All right, let's get back to the proper episode.
Moving on from there, back at the sheriff's office in an interview room, Doc Hayward draws some blood and Cooper tries to draw out a confession.
I love that they start this out as if he's about to get a rectal exam. Like Doc Hayward throwing them gloves on. And Doc Hayward is real happy to do this, by the way. So perhaps there's a history there between him and Ben that we're hinting at here. I love that. They're doing a blood test. They're looking for that AB negative that we know that the killer has. I love the dressing down of Cooper and Jerry Horn, like that he went to Gonzaga University, which is a real school. But the laundry list of his disbarments and just all these terrible things that he's done. We're going to confront Ben with the diary. We mentioned already the last time when Cooper was going through the diary that it's not quite the same. I'm going to tell the world about Benjamin versus I'm going to tell the world about Ben Horn. It's repeated here. Cooper's just being a straight cop, and it's not out of character, right? Because we've seen him do some of this stuff in season 1 when he's sort of grilling people, and so that felt right. But it's more straight cop Cooper than we're used to getting most of the time. Ben's in trouble, right? It's like a very strong motive. We know that he didn't do it, but things are not looking good for him. And last thing is Jerry's line about your blood may have Laura's fingerprints on it is just such a great line.
Crazy line. Crazy line. He also ends that scene with another great line that I strongly suggest you get a better lawyer, which is at least, he's self-aware that if nothing else.
Yeah, as your lawyer, as your friend, as your brother. Yeah.
So, that's great. There's one thing I didn't quite understand. Whenever they ask for a moment, can I have a moment with my client? And Cooper and Harry leave them alone. Jerry says he's blurted out a confession. But he didn't really blurt out a confession.
Well, he didn't blurt out a confession, but he reacted in a way where he got up and he was acting crazy. So he...
Oh, he says after that, your motive has been burned. Or no, your alibi's been burned, your motives are strong. Like, that I get.
Yeah, he's got nothing.
But when he says, confession...
Yeah, it wasn't literal like you said I did it, but you were acting like, he's making a point. Like, you got to stop and chill out and not act this way. Because you might as well be, confessing.
I'll take Jerry's point of view with a grain of salt, knowing his legal history there, too. Let's see. From here, we move over to the Johnson Family Rehabilitation Center, where Bobby plays the tape that he found in the shoe before, and he's making a plan.
No one's finishing this addition, right? I mean, that just seems like the work in that kitchen is never getting done. Leo's not doing it. Leo's not getting up anytime soon and picking up a hammer, and Bobby certainly isn't.
Not a chance.
I like this little glimpse into pre-vegetative state Leo. Like, yes, he's dumb. Yes, he constantly needs a new pair of shoes. Maybe not the sharpest tack, but he's not an idiot. Like he recorded himself with Ben. I'm hoping that maybe he recorded more details about what his relationship was like with Bobby and how the drug money worked. That maybe he could release those tapes. I don't know. Bobby's always scheming, and poor Shelley, she's just too gullible. No matter what crazy harebrained idea that he has, she takes it.
Yeah, she's so trusting of the wrong people always, except for Norma, of the wrong men. Let's say trusting of the wrong men.
Yeah, she's got a history of bad men
for sure.
Although Bobby, there's good in Bobby.
He's still not right
we'll
for
get
her.
there.
He's just not making the right... Oh, okay. All right. Bobby Stan over here. Unless there's anything else, let's head over to the Double R. Norma's mother comes to town. She tastes the potatoes, introduces her new husband, and Mrs. Hank.
Yeah, these two now. You could... Obviously, Ernie Niles, you could see this crook coming a mile away.
Heck yeah.
There's no subtlety to to what his deal is.
No.
That dyed hair, you can just feel the weight of Norma's mom's passive-aggressive behavior, Helen. I like that you get Toad again, so there's always, if you need a chance to put an extra in there, we're going to get Toad. Is it this scene or maybe later that we learn that her mom is wealthy? So you get a little bit more like backstory on Norma.
Yeah.
That she comes from money, or in some fashion, her parents accrued wealth. Her mom doesn't live in Twin Peaks. We know Norma did because she dated Ed in high school. But it's just wondering what that family was like. Where's her dad? Is her dad passed away? Did he get separated? But so there's a little bit more. You get a little bit more backstory on Norma because, sometimes we don't always flesh out every character.
Right.
The guy looking for a Tokyo fax, like it just feels very 90s to have
really
a fax
Yes.
of any kind.
Yep.
Last thing is, again, it feeds into her found family thing. She's got a terrible relationship with her mom, so it really makes more sense of her and Shelley coming together. We don't know who
Yeah.
Shelley's family is never seen or really mentioned, so it's like, okay, these damaged people are finding each other, and I prefer that family to this lady tasted potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, she's just these subtle passive-aggressive digs no matter what.
Yeah.
She assumes that they're flaked potatoes, but no, they're real, and surprised they're good, and assumes that it must have been Hank that made them then.
Yeah. She has a weird relationship with Hank. Yep.
She does have yes, she definitely does. But she just, these must not be very good. Oh, they are good. They must not be Norma's then. Terrible. I love it. You learn so much so quickly.
No, yeah, everything she said is there's a double-edged to it, double-edged nature.
Yeah, and the casting's great. I mean, the performance is really good, but they also look so similar. They look like they could be related, which is very nice. And then just the last little, obviously, like you said, it doesn't take us long to recognize that Ernie's up to something, and Norma finds the newspaper that says the
really big
super super big, so you can read it all the way in the back. But yeah, so he's still gambling, even though he says later he's not. Quickly though, we can head over to a room at the Great Northern. Mike becomes aware that Bob is near, and he makes a break for it.
When are they giving him his meds back? This is going to be every time we see Mike, I'm going to have similar comments like, what did this guy do? What did he do other than just exist? Mm-hmm. They've robbed him of his meds. They're not giving him his meds. No. They've got him under house arrest. The twitching arm is just weird as hell. Like that is just
it's very effective.
Very effective, exactly.
Yeah.
I like that he's at the Great Northern. He has his own little room that they're putting him up in. But that's all. I just, at some point, like, you're going to let him go, right? I mean, I
guess.
Just holding him?
Well, he doesn't stay for long.
No, he doesn't.
I like that, just these little details. You have the little details of characters. You have the nurse that's sitting there with him in his room, and she's just knitting and chewing bubble gum, blowing bubbles, which is, I don't know, just people make choices, and I love that. You just small things like that. I like that when she goes to get him a glass of water, and the police officer comes in, and Mike whacks him over the back of the head to knock him out. He apologizes and means it.
Yeah, he
really means
good...
it. Like, I love it. It's right. Yeah. To see that difference between Mike and Bob in just every interaction, just to draw the distinction between them is great. But Eric, we're heading back to the Double R. Hank shows up full of excuses and sweet talk after disappearing for 2 days.
Yeah, he's got spending his time at One Eye Jack's. So he's just so full of shit. The way he just cons Norma, and then she eventually freaking goes for it, and then you get to see this Vivian and Hank relationship, and she seems to genuinely like Hank.
Yeah,
which is great because it shows. Obviously, we're seeing her new husband with the racing form, and you get his full of shit. Like the apple does not fall far from the tree, as they say.
Yeah,
with these two. But that's it. This is a subplot of many. I don't have much to add to it.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I would ask is, what day is it? Because we were just in the Great Northern and the scene before in the Double R when Vivian arrived in town. Now we're in the Double R again, but Vivian's in a different outfit. But she's cooking, she's helping out.
So later in the same day, because if you remember the earlier conversation, she she was like looking for Hank, and she's like, "Why are you so stressed out?" She's like, "Oh, because there's a food critic, and because she's shorthanded, so her mom's volunteering in the kitchen. Her mom is also a cook, or because obviously she's tasting the potatoes, so I'm sure she learned to cook from her mom. So she's no stranger to the kitchen."
Okay. So later in the same day makes sense to me, but
Yes.
just the fact that she had changed completely was like, maybe okay, gotcha, cool. We got to keep track of the timeline. It's very
Well, she's been traveling in those clothes all day, Dan, from wherever they're coming from. And then they go to the Great Northern, and then maybe she takes a shower and she puts on her work clothes that she doesn't care if she gets gravy on. It all makes sense.
Let's see. We're heading back to the police station. Pete stops by the sheriff's to let Harry know that Josie's gone, taking his heart with her. Andy passes out in the lobby, and Pete checks out an inmate. Lots happening in this one.
I love the fact that they take that quiet moment of Pete and Harry to both share looking at the woodpecker. Now, you could maybe read into a little bit of it. They both have a woodpecker in common. But I love that they have this. Like, you don't need this scene. You just keep going on your way. But like that they take the time and they're like, "What do you have there?" And he's looking, and I love it. It's just a really good character moment. I don't know if we've ever mentioned before, there's a picture of Harriet Truman on the wall that you can now see behind them. The assistant versus the cousin routine. I told Josie this would blow up in your face, and here it is blowing up in her face.
It's happening.
I don't know. I'm gonna save Andy for you because I know you love Andy. That poor dope.
Poor big Andy.
Yeah, I guess this is all. You also have the Ben thing in here as well. Okay, so that part is great. I just love how much he loves Catherine and how excited Pete gets when he's watching this play. Watching this play out.
Yes.
And when he's playing the tape recorder, and Ben is trying to attack the tape recorder as if he's grabbing Catherine, which is just funny. And that he calls him Benji, which just is such a perfect line for him to give. I don't know. I love it. They talk about memory and dreams and all these things that are important to us. It's a great scene. Pete eats the scene up. And again, here is Richard Bamer with Jack Nance killing it. So it's always fun. These scenes are fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have too much to add otherwise.
No, I mean, going back to the beginning again, just that Pete musters up the courage, when it must have taken a ton, to say to Harry that Josie's gone and I loved her. And just to say it out loud.
Yeah.
He's maybe never even said that phrase out loud. Maybe he's barely even allowed himself to think how much he loves Josie beyond caring for her, a familial sort of love. Mm-hmm. It is more than that, and that he admits that to Harry. And that Harry's like, yeah, I get it. I loved her too. Like, there's no animosity, no rivalry, no whatever. It's just,
because Harry's also like, you're not a threat at all. Like, I'm literally ripping her brand new dresses. What are you doing? She made you a sandwich.
It's not exactly the same league, but totally understandable.
But no, you're right. To your point, it's a fantastic moment.
But that they both have that bad feeling. So I like that the two of them are now kind of put together in this way to think about like what happened to Josie. Terrific. Like I said, Andy comes in. Lucy's holding her nephew in her arms. Does Andy?
Yes. Yes.
God,
he thinks she had the baby.
Come on.
He thinks that's her baby.
Oh, God.
Or that he thinks that could be his baby.
Oh, God. It can't be. He can't be.
That's the joke.
I know it's dumb. The joke, but it can't be. Poor sweet Andy. All right. Well, that's fine. I was hoping there was something like maybe it was just the realization of, my sperms are fine, so that we could have had a baby together, and now I see her and is just overwhelmed by it. But no, he literally thinks that was his kid. Fantastic. And then last, Pete going in to see Ben. All of that. Totally agree. Pete is loving this, listening to Catherine, her plan coming into fruition through the tape.
Yeah.
And it's like he's watching a grandmaster at chess, just destroying their parents. He's just giddy. He's gloating, in fact, over all this. And then it just destroys Ben at the end, and he's just ripping up his cell, has a pillow
tantrum.
Fight for one. It's just
it's a complete tantrum.
It's fantastic, and he tries to gather himself at the end when the other officer comes in. It's just I love to see Ben this on his back foot, and that Catherine is absolutely in this moment at least she's winning.
And
great.
we've seen this a lot with Ben. Born Rich has multiple tantrums when he was arrested. No, like when he's having his sandwich and he's kicking, and here he is like wrecking the cell, throwing everything around, like
which does nothing but affect him. Like it's not going to bother anyone else. He's just doing it to himself. Yes, he is.
No, he's a child. He is a child. He's still that same child watching the flashlight dance in slow motion.
Absolutely is. Yeah. From here, Eric, Leland, Cooper, and Harry have a close call on the road, and Leland invites Cooper to play around.
Oh, goddamn this scene. This scene is the best scene in this episode, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because we've got Leland whistling, right? He's whistling Surrey with the fringe on top. Mm-hmm. And what's Cooper whistling?
Same thing.
Surrey with the fringe on top, right? It's music. Music is this connection to the Red Room, Black Lodge, and Cooper's he's in sync with it.
Right.
Whether he even realizes it or not, like this thing's going on, and then Cooper's being brought. Last time we saw Cooper, he was halfway in and halfway out of the Red Room. Right, he was halfly faded. It's so good the way they use it, and you could miss that. I mean, you could if you're not like paying attention. He's always whistling or whatever, and like so good. What were you gonna say?
And that connection is even further shown whenever he and Harry are driving, and Cooper just turns to Harry and says, "Are the students of Twin Peaks required to take driver's ed?" This is before he sees Leland's car come around the corner. He asked that question first.
Oh, I always took that as a joke because he's driving.
He doesn't see. No, I don't think so.
Are you sure? I don't know. Maybe
because I went back and watched it twice, and it didn't appear to me that he said it because of that. It seemed like he said it in a precognition sort of way. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I always took that as a joke, like, what's the driver's age around here? And then you cut over and there's a baby driving the car kind of thing.
Sure. Oh, that old gag.
It's certainly anything is possible in the world of Twin Peaks. Leland is so disarming. Like when they pull him over, he switches to that sad Leland. Oh, I was thinking about Ben, and they're buying it. They're eating it up. Yep. Harry's eating this thing up. And the way
Cooper
that Cooper's too, because 100%. That's what I mean. He's disarming. He is like, you fall under his spell, and it's the perfect vehicle for this murderous lunatic to be stalking people with. And the way he just suggests the dairy, just that little bit, so they can be like, so Cooper can feel big and important that he made the connection that he really means diary, and aren't I smart? And I freaking love it. And how brazen he is when he's showing him the clubs where the freaking body is. Like, that's serial killer psychopathy. Is that right? And then when he takes the club out, like, you could say, like, is he going to hit him? Because Bob's, like, he's got it up there, and you see Bob in this episode also features a number of times that he looks in the mirror, and you're reminded that Bob's in there. But I'm fine with all of it. I don't know. It's a great scene.
Well, especially in this one, like, you get Bob's smirk in the rearview mirror. That is just, it's real scary. I love it.
That's it. I love the scene. It's really just like, and anytime you're outside too, I'm a fan of like on location outdoor stuff. So like the giant skies and just the way he's driving like a lunatic. Really great performance from Ray Wise.
Yep. And a small detail, but I love it. Why does Cooper like playing golf? He likes the precision of the game. Yes. I love that. It's just a good detail. Like it's terrific.
Yeah, I'm not a golfer, but hey, if Cooper wants to play golf, that's cool. So is Jacoby, and like there is the Jacoby Cooper connection, right? Remember when Jacoby went under, and he was talking about his whole meditation thing was about putting, and it was like you're on the green, and the green is receding, and like so they're both golf fans.
Okay,
in a way.
Let's head back to the sheriff's office again. Mike's brought in, and Gwen rhapsodizes about health issues again and sperm guns.
I just got to give it up for Al Strobel coming in, and the look that he gives, like, listen, like, it's like he's Mike. He's hunting Bob. He's in the red room. He's hanging out with the man from another place, and he looks like he cannot understand what Gwen is talking about or why they're having this conversation when he comes into the sheriff's office. And I just love it. Where is it? Oh, the lean in from Gwen is very funny. So like, I talked about it before, how she's constantly, putting herself in a conversation, and she is so awful that it's a nice way of driving them together, Lucy and Andy together. So that's like a very good scene. I talked about the identical hair. That's just such a nice touch.
In the interview room, Mike has a good look at Ben and sees Bob is not with them. Harry charges Ben, and Cooper has a theory about a saddle, and Harry's done with the hocus pocus.
Yeah, I mean, Mike passes on Ben, right? We know it's not him, and now Mike is sort of reaffirming that. This is going to push Cooper to our side.
Yeah.
The man's stairs do not reach the attic. There's always great lines from anyone writing the horns. So hats off to Scott Frost for that one. Again, what did Philip Gerard do? Harry is putting him back in the Great Northern and nailing the windows shut.
Yeah.
He has not been arrested for a crime. He has not done anything, but they've robbed him of his medication. And his livelihood, his liberty, his livelihood. Who's selling shoes? Does he have rent to pay? Like, I guess he stays in hotels, but...
Yeah, and those shoes really sell themselves. So it's not going to be an issue. Oh, no, totally. And they're using him as a bloodhound. They're using him as a supernatural bloodhound.
They're using him.
And it's almost like physically like that. He is right up on Ben, and
all those things are true.
Yeah.
All those things are true, but... To even if you accept those and say we're using him as a bloodhound, Harry thinks it's Ben. Ben is under arrest. They have all the evidence. Yeah. Why is Harry still keeping him locked in? He's not going to be a witness for the prosecution.
Oh, Mike, you mean?
Mike. Harry sends him back to the Great Northern and says, nail the windows shut if you have to.
Well, because
what are they holding on to him for?
Cooper's gotten him this far. Cooper thinks that there's something else that
he's off Cooper. Cooper, I'm done with Tibet. I'm done throwing things.
Yeah, in that moment he is. But that's this moment.
That moment is like either immediately before or immediately after nail the window shut.
It's right. It's right around there.
I think in Harry's head, he's decided Ben is he's not holding on to one-armed man because he thinks he could be wrong.
No. I think he's holding on to him because Cooper wants to hold on to him. But he's like, this is it. This is Ben. And because Harry is a very emotional person, and Ben and Jerry got to him. Charge my client or let him go. Great, let's do it. And I don't think it was a really premeditated thing. I don't think the two of them went into the interview room expecting to charge Ben. That was a decision that Harry made in that moment. And Cooper even says that to the extent of like, I think we're saddling the wrong horse, but I'm in your backyard.
Totally.
So this is all your decision. So yeah, I don't disagree with you with any of that. Yeah.
Right. I think all of that is true. But even before he got pushed to that point,
he's still
he's convinced it's Ben. It is Ben. Like, motive is clear.
Yes.
We have a diary.
Yes.
We have One-Eyed Jacks. We have all sorts of connections to organized crime and everything else. Like, he has no alibi.
And he's probably expecting that Doc Hayward's blood test is going to come back any minute showing that's true.
Yeah, that's the bit of evidence we haven't gotten to yet.
It's only been circumstantial to this point, though. So he's jumping the gun a little bit, but
True.
It all seems like it's, let's charge it.
All right. So anyway, I just feel bad. I feel bad for Mike myself.
I like to see the small falling out, such as it is. Not that it's a major thing, but just that. Harry goes through the laundry list. I'm done with dwarfs and giants and Tibet and
he keeps going. Yeah,
it's really good. Just that list of things. Like, you know what? You really are making a point there when you say it all together like that. I guess so.
Right, which is echoed in the SNL sketch that we just did for the Patreon. So if you haven't subscribed, you could listen to that.
You should listen to it. It's a great, oh my goodness.
Great turn on Cooper to understanding and not pushing back and not using his federal authority over him.
He's Cooper. He's the best guy.
And with that, this is such a great moment. Very much like when Cooper tells Shelley, oh, sure, no, Leo, maybe you'll get the same old Leo home. Harry pushes. Mm-hmm. Cooper says, you know what? It's your backyard. And they hold on that beat on Harry's face when he starts to realize, like, But what if I'm wrong? Like, I just got exactly what I wanted, but maybe this isn't. Like, whether he's verbalizing it or not, or whether it's unconscious or not, I love how they hold on that moment when he sort of sits with the decision that he made.
Well, I mean, they're
It's
reversing their roles. So Harry has very much been supporting Cooper all along, and now Cooper's like, all right, yep, you're right. And yeah, that's a great way of putting it, too. It's like, uh-oh, I caught the car. Now what do I do with it? But, Eric, it is dinner time. We're going to head over to the Great Northern. We're going to have some salmon, and Hank and Ernie are going to get reacquainted.
Classic Ernie the Professor Niles, dining in the timber room, as you do if you're going to be at the Great Northern. Yeah, I think maybe I mentioned the money part earlier, but this is really where it gets, Hank calls her money bags or whatever. We don't know what's happening with the dad. We know she doesn't live in Twin Peaks. I like that they met at a Republican fundraiser.
Yes.
Which of course they did. And Hank is great. So Hank is always good. He's another actor that is fantastic in everything.
Elevates every scene, for sure.
Chris Mulkey is great in this scene. I don't know. I don't have anything. This is like another one of these plots that's coming that's not quite connected to the main plot.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. The takeaway is that they're from prison together. So he's connected to the criminal world.
Well, I think yes, that's true. And I think the real takeaway here is the subtle threat that Hank now has something over Ernie. Sorry, I keep wanting to call him Eddie. The real takeaway is that Hank has something over Ernie in this. He could blow this whole thing up. He says this, nothing's more important than the family. I'd pay anything, blah, blah, blah. So he's basically said, and then as Norma and her mother coming back to the table, he's still talking about like prison yard, whatever, totally within earshot of them. So Ernie looks so uncomfortable in that last moment before Hank has a toast to them. I like the small details too. The three of them are drinking wine. Hank's drinking a big beer. He's picking up the food and eating it with his hands.
Yeah, like a savage.
Like a savage. He's got that bolo tie that has the domino as the clasp on it, which is
classic
great.
Trademark.
Very much him. So it's just good, the whole scene around. And then just that last little bit of holding on Norma where she's maybe feeling something's off here and knows that something's going on. She knows Hank well enough to know that there's an angle for something happening. So I want to see where this goes. Very excited about that.
Yeah, and I wonder like how much of that is like her being like, why is my life like this? Like, how? Because she should be with Ed.
Yeah, well,
and here she is, like with her mom that she doesn't get along with her mom's new husband. You get the sense that maybe he's not the first of the new husbands, and all the crap with Hank. Even though sometimes she's like, it seems like she's into him when he wins her over. So
she's a romantic. She wants it to be real. I would also say one last thing too. Vivian is not just dismissive or undercutting with Norma. The first thing we hear out of her mouth is, "I had the salmon. It was a little dry and or whatever, a little overcooked." Like everything is
she's
this
a
little
huge
bit of
pain in the ass.
Everything's a criticism. It's just
she
delightful.
Would be hard
to watch.
To grow up with.
For sure. Eric, coming to the last chunk here.
Oh yeah.
It's 11:05 at the Great Northern. Audrey comes to talk to Cooper about her dad. Cooper gets a call and is off to the woods where they find Maddie Ferguson.
Interesting, like just natural phenomena. Well, first he's a little late night pie because he didn't put much of a dent in it. I guess his appetite wasn't there. But when he makes the comment that there are no stars,
yes.
So it's this very black, something terrible. He talks about it, how like he's lost. He doesn't know where to go. There's no light stars to guide you. He is completely on his own in the darkness, and I love that. Sherilyn Fenn, there's not a lot going on with Audrey. Like, ever since she sort of went to One-Eyed Jack's, and then she was mostly on drugs after a while when she was done her snooping around when she gets caught. And I feel like she's sort of directionless a little bit in the show, like a character in the show. So it's nice to get her actually in a scene again. I mean, we had great scenes with her and her father, don't get me wrong. But I love this scene between the two of them because you have at this point, Cooper doesn't believe that Ben did it. And so he's arrested with all of this guilt because Sherilyn's here and she's like, "Did you arrest him because of what I told you?" And he knows it's true. He's destroyed her relationship with her father, maybe forever, for something that...
Her dad destroyed that relationship with One-Eyed Jack, so don't put it all on Cooper there.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, because of...
No, I know.
Well, let me finish my thought. So he's sitting with all of this for someone that he genuinely deeply cares about. And because of what she told him, the end result, in a perfect world, Ben did it. We got the bad guy. That's not the end result. This is just damage for damage's sake. This is like a situation that happened and he's got to sort of sit with that and tell her that, yeah, maybe it was, and like how he deals with that. And I hate like that she also feels that she has to tell him that she wasn't with anyone in any way.
Agent Cooper, when I was at One-Eyed Jack's, I never let anyone...
Audrey, you don't have to say anything.
I want you to know.
I know.
And that it feels so 90s. It was like this purity thing that like Pretty Woman, but you're only my third client. Like there's all of this sort of bullshit that's wrapped up around it. And he says, I know. And in a perfect world, I wish he would have said something like, I wouldn't care, or it wouldn't matter, or whatever. But there's that thing. But that's the way she's looking at the world. And it makes it all the more tragic with all these other women that are going through One-Eyed Jacks and Laura and everything else. And that she feels that she has to say that. I don't know. I love that scene. The big thing the big reveal at the ending is obviously we find Maddie. Not much to say about that. It's a cool shot, the way it's done. The real thing here for me is the scene between the two of them. And it's it's hard. It's rough for Audrey to realize what she's done, even if it was her dad's fault.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of that, and on top of it, there still is this connection between the two of them, attraction between them. Cooper goes to answer the door. He has his shirt off, and you see the bandages around his abdomen. And, he puts his shirt on when he goes to answer the door. And then when it's Audrey, he starts, trying to cover himself up a bit. And she even makes note of it. Oh, is that where you got shot? So there is this tension. She kind of goes to the other side of the room, is against the wall. They put the bed between them.
Yeah.
So it's just this like physical representation of their acknowledging that there's something there, but also trying to deny it at the same time. I think that it's beautiful as a subtext to what's going on, and a motivation for her to explain like nothing happened while I was at Jack's.
That's added as if like I'm still desirable.
Yes, yeah.
For you sexually because I didn't do these things. Like I don't want you to think that I'm ruined or you know what I mean. And it's so sad and tragic that's. I don't like that part of it.
Yeah, and then Cooper having to run off and tell her to lock her door, and she listens to him. It's her agent, so he goes off to the woods. I love the shot of them arriving. Again, it's one of these location shots that you were saying before, how you like them outside. I love the camera work. It's, the camera's walking backwards with it trained on the two of them coming through the woods. It's a very kinetic shot, so there's a lot of motion in the frame as it whips around, and you see them they're by the river in the woods there.
No, they're by the falls. They're at the bottom of the falls by the Great Northern.
They're at the bottom of the falls. So there, then of course it's Maddie again wrapped in plastic, mirroring the beginning of the show. It's just
it's great. The little details like the danger of falling sign that you get a hint of that as you're coming around, but it feels like a cop show too. Like this could be the beginning of Law and Order SVU or something, and then one of the Ice-T will come out and take his sunglasses off.
So what happened?
It's Maddie Ferguson.
Well, it looks like something caught her.
I don't know. I'm mixing up two cop shows there, but what was the one where you took the glass off? That was CSI Miami with.
I think it's CSI. Yeah.
Yeah, but SVU was Ice-T, so I'm in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for this. So yeah, now we know.
Solid episode.
Great episode.
Great moments, really high moments, and it's again just a reminder we're nearing the end here. The last episode that we're doing before our break is episode 16, Arbitrary Law. So we're getting Mark Frost writing it along with Harley Payton and Bob Engels, and directed by Tim Hunter. And we had seen Tim Hunter in season 1, so now he's coming back for season 2. A lot of people love this. As one of on many top lists for folk. So
what the next episode is?
The next episode.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Cool. Well, until then, folks, if you haven't already,
end of the saga.
As Eric mentioned, sign up for the Patreon if you want to get some additional goodies that will come out over time. We have a few things there for you to check out. And more importantly, you'll just help us continue doing the show, pay for streaming this stuff to you. And we appreciate it for those of you that have done so already.
We truly do.
Yeah.
Truly do.
I don't know if you had more than that, but it's true. All right. Until next time. Thanks, everyone.
All right. See ya. Thank you for listening to the Meanwhile podcast with Dan Johnson and Eric Grissom. If you would like to support the Meanwhile podcast, join our Patreon. It's available right now. You can sign up, and for just a few dollars a month, you can keep this show going, and you can get access to some exclusive podcasts and some secret stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. So if you'd like to join, go to ericgrissom.com/meanwhile and look for the Patreon link. If you like our show, please consider rating and reviewing the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're hearing this now. Meanwhile is produced by Eric Grissom and Where's My Robots? The Meanwhile theme song is written and performed by Paul Finn and Evening Pines. If you want to let us know what you thought of the show, you can reach Dan at danjnj.com, both on the web and on Blue Sky. Eric can be found on Blue Sky at ericgrissom.com, which is also his website. It's also me, right? That's weird. We'll see you again. And in the meantime, be good.
Listen to the sounds.
Meanwhile.